All right. Yeah, recording has started.
Okay. Yeah. Any student who
Wait, did he just cut off for everyone, or was it just me? Oh, I can hear it now. Never mind. Okay. Should I start, sir?
Yeah, Daksh, I think around 49 students, 47, 48 joined. We can please go ahead, Daksh.
All
If
right.
anyone joins, they might join in between. Yeah. Thanks, Daksh.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. My name is Daksh, as you all might have been told, and I'm here to talk about my journey, not just to Google, but throughout like how I went from India to the US. A little bit about me. This is a picture of me at graduation just a few weeks ago from Reed College, which is a private liberal arts college in Portland, Oregon, which is in northwest part of the US. I came here around in 2018, which was a year after I did my 12th. And I'll go through my whole timeline about how everything went. But yeah, the basic thing is I majored in mathematics and computer science. And wait 1 second. Sorry, I'm getting some background noise. Okay. Yeah, so I majored in mathematics and computer science, and I wrote my thesis on quantum computation. Right now, I am going to be working for Google I'm actually starting in 1 week. I'm in San Francisco right now. So yeah, I think that part is super fun. And without much delay, let's get into the details. How did my journey to the US start? All right, so this started when I came into the 9th grade. When I came to the 9th grade, I think it's still like that in India, but everyone starts thinking about like engineering and medicine. You know, like, should we start preparing for JEE or NEET or AIMS or stuff like that? And naturally, I started thinking about that too. And I decided it was the best option for me to go for actually like to study for both engineering and medicine in a way. So like PCMB, I was kind of choosing that area and I was going towards that. But then one day I stumbled upon like this word, the SAT, and I just kind of stopped and I looked and I kind of like started daydreaming. I was like, wow, this is actually a kind of future that I can build for myself. But keep this in mind, I was extremely poor. I mean, very, very poor. My parents could not afford to send me without full aid. So I was kind of like getting hope, but also getting kind of hopeless because of how expensive the US was. But regardless, like seeing the tales of full scholarships and full financial aids, I just went ahead and started researching about all the exams, all the colleges, spent all of 9th grade basically researching. And then in the 10th grade, I joined the institute, and yeah, my first class was actually with Venkat sir. I remember it was a math class. And I think that class was when everything really changed for me because I saw that there was a completely different approach to doing things. There's a completely different realm of education that's that's kind of hidden in CBSE and just in Indian education. And eventually as I was studying more and more, and as Venkat sir mentored me more and more, I realized that yes, this is the kind of future what I want, and even if I have to fight tooth and nail for it, I will, because in the end, it was about what kind. I was trying to think in like bigger than life moments, like what kind of things do I want in my life, like what kind of identity do I want to build, and I realized that I wanted to do something way more than I could ever accomplish in India. And in doing so, in that journey, Venkat sir was really, really, really helpful. I remember he might tell you this too. Like, I think in weeks leading up to the exams, we used to sit together and I used to do mock exams almost every weekend, like for the SAT At that time, we also had SAT Subject tests and stuff like that. We used to take mock exams every weekend. We used to go over colleges almost every day. Just every day there was something going on, some process, something going on, some discussion of colleges, some discussion of the journey. There was never like a complacent moment. We would always just going. And that push that I got, that mentorship was really, really helpful, because I think now sitting here, I realized that I was actually hanging by a thread in that way. And if I wasn't had been like pushed to achieve my best potential, I might not even have made it. Because it, yeah, if you, because since I needed financial aid, it takes a lot to get here. And he helped me get exactly that. He did not mince words. He did not do any of that. I just, whenever I used to go to his office, he used to tell me exactly what he thought. And yeah, we always used to go from there. And he always used to give me really good advice. And yeah, that brings me to SAT exams. As you all might know, SAT exams are like the primary exams people think of when they think of US admissions. But the key thing to remember, and I can go into this more if anyone has any questions, but the key thing to remember is that SAT exams are not like the JEE or NEET exams where you get like a list and based on how high you scored, you get a better college. No, not at all. For example, I'll give you my tale. I scored a 1540 out of 1600 in my SAT, which is pretty high. All of the Ivy Leagues rejected me because A, I did not focus enough on extracurriculars, and B, I needed full financial aid. So getting a full score is by no means a guarantee that you'll get into a top college. However, getting a really good score is one of the prerequisites that you need to get into a good college. It's a misnomer that getting into the US is like easier than getting into JEE and NEET. It's not necessarily harder. It's just a very, very different process, which is something I think that Indian students, Indian parents, including me when I was there, it's hard to wrap my head around this. It's a completely different process. It's a test of not just your academic rigor, but also your personality, which is where extracurriculars come in. Extracurriculars, in my opinion, are the most important part of the application that, I mean, ironically, not ironically, but like, unfortunately, I regret it. I neglected quite a bit because it was just a huge change for me. I wasn't focused a lot on extracurriculars, but those of you who can focus on extracurriculars right now should. You definitely should. Okay, I got a question. Since it's a small question, I'll answer it right now. Would impactful extracurriculars take me to Ivy Leagues? They are definitely a piece of the puzzle. They're definitely a piece of the packet that will help you go to impactful Ivy League colleges. But in the end, I'd like to ask you this. What does impactful college mean to you? What kind of impact do you want to create? And just start from there, honestly. What kind of impact do you want to create? And all your essays, all your extracurriculars, everything should be centered around you. You are the focal point. Because in the end, they're accepting unique candidates. They want to build a unique community. US culture is really, really big on community, building a very vibrant community. Every workplace, every college talks about that a lot. And this is something you always need to keep in mind about what you are doing to further the betterment of the community. In my opinion, that's like a really good place to start. And that can take many forms, and many, many forms. I'll answer the rest of the question, like some of the questions towards the end. Okay, this is the last one I'll answer for now. Are programming skills or any technical skills considered extracurriculars? Yes, they are. They definitely are, especially provided that you can, it's been a prolonged thing. It's not like a one-shot competition. Like, for example, if you won like a coding contest online once and that's it, then it's not very impactful. But if those technical skills, those computer skills have been a fundamental part of your personality, of who you are as an individual and as a student, then they're really, really important. And I would definitely highlight them. Okay, that's it about extracurriculars. AP exams. For me, AP exams, okay, in admissions, let me assure you, they likely won't help that much. But what they do help you with is they help you save a lot of money in college by helping you skip introductory classes. as well as they do show that you have a certain edge in subjects that you want to take. So for example, when I went into college, I was going to study physics and math. So when I took physics and math AP exams, and when I got when I get fives on all of them, it showed the colleges that I was capable of doing at least introductory coursework. I was up to par. And these can be a really positive signal, because you got to remember, we are in India. CBSE is a foreign, even though colleges know how to read CBSE scores, they also know that CBSE scores vary a lot. They are not very standardized all across the country. Like they can vary quite a bit. Board exams don't, but otherwise, like, scores can vary. So taking an exam in that students of their own population take is a really positive signal that, yeah, you can academically handle the workload. And that is a positive signal. College essays. After extracurriculars, actually, I would put them with extracurriculars as the most important things in an application packet. College essays flesh out your personality in an application packet. That is, I worked in admissions office, so I can also tell you that college essays are the first things anyone reads. They don't really read about your SAT scores. They read your college essays first to see if they're captivated. And human mentality is like this. Like if you read something, or if you have an opinion and you're really for that opinion, you'll want to reject opinions that defy that opinion. So for example, if you read a college essay and you really like that essay, you really like that student, but you see that their SAT score was kind of average or below average, you'll still want to make that case. But if the opposite were true, if their college essay was bad, but their SAT score was good, you're getting thrown away. Because if you can't handle because first of all, you made a bad first impression. College essays are the first impression, and that's a bad first impression. And second thing, if you can't flesh out your personality in an essay, you won't be able to flesh out your personality in a college. Believe me, I've seen it in real life. In college, that happens a lot. People disappear. So people disappear into the background is basically what I'm saying. So what I mean to say is that focusing on building a personality is really essential, and something I had to do a lot of introspection, a lot of man just introspecting, writing, erasing, introspecting, writing, erasing, getting frustrated. And that cycle goes on and on until you have a final product. That is what writing a college essay, at least for me, is all about. Then, well, I should first go back and say, after you have your application packet, let's say you applied and you got into a college of your good choice, and you got a good financial aid, you got good scholarship. By the way, these scholarships and financial aids can be negotiated with your college. When you get into college, keep this in mind. I have negotiated many times. Like, you can negotiate with college to get more and more financial aid, even when you're attending the college. You can always negotiate more and more money. So keep that in mind when you get a financial aid package or a scholarship package. So suppose you got a scholarship, you get into a college, everything is good, but then you get into a college and you don't know what to do. You go in here, you see 400 or 500, at least 500 other students like you. Where do you go from there? That's what navigating through college is all about. Navigating through a college in the US is also particularly tough because it's a different culture. The culture shock will hit you. It hits everyone for varying duration, but it hits everyone just the same. When culture shock hits, the key thing for me was to try not to get shy and still just get involved with not every, but all the clubs and the student governments that I was interested in. I was in student government for 2.5 years, and before going into college, I wasn't even in any extracurricular. Like my extracurriculars were zero. And that was a huge change. That was a huge burden for me, but I did it. And in the end, honestly, those jobs, those extracurriculars, those connections are what really got me to Google and what really gave me the confidence. And yeah, so when you navigate through college, always just make connections, be proactive, go out of your way. And yeah, when you go out of your way to just get involved with stuff, and please don't forget to have fun when you get to college. And so yeah, key takeaways: be proactive, have fun. And yeah, these two things that I didn't talk about. I'm almost done, by the way. I'm so sorry, y'all. And in my opinion, it's always best to have a 1-year plan and a 4-year plan, even if they change. What I mean by that is this. So for example, um, suppose last year in around April, I thought I didn't have any internships. I haven't had any internships, by the way, ever, because it's just my story is way longer than what I've told you. But long story short, I have had no internships. And as you might know, getting a full-time job is harder if you don't have any internships. It's way harder because your resume is empty. It's completely empty, nothing to put on there. So when that happens, my 1-year plan was to that I need to get a job. Just apply, and get in. And that was a 1-year plan. I didn't know where I could get in. I didn't even know what industry I would get into. Because I was just a computer science and math major, but by no means I'd really I was targeting program. I was like, just any job, just anything that lets me stay in the US and helps me build my life. I just kept applying, and then stuff happened. And just if you have a plan, I just followed a plan. Basically, I wasn't getting complacent, and I already started applying 1 year before I had to even 1 year before I even graduated, and that was the optimal time actually. So what I mean is that it's always best to have a 1-year plan where you know what you need to do in that 1 year, and also 4-year plan, like what you want to do after college. And these things can change, but they should always be in the back of your mind. All right. Okay, I'm seeing a chat, but okay, never mind. And yeah, I think that's almost it. Yeah, highlight of COVID and how my plans changed. Yeah, so before actually COVID started, my plan was to get into finance because I was really interested in numbers. I've always been interested in numbers. So my plan was to just get into finance and try to explore that. But as I went into it, I realized that just the field was not for me. There was just not a lot of things that were going along for me. So as I said, I just started applying everywhere. I applied to, I think when I checked my logs last time, I applied to 200 plus places in all. And in the end, I got offers from 4 of those places. Actually, sorry, I got offers from 3 of those places. My bad. I got offers from 3 of those places, and all 3 were amazing 6-figure offers. But the point is, when I started COVID, I was completely hopeless. Completely hopeless. Like, I was cleaning windows just to make money in order to eat. The situation was that bad. I really had to clean windows, clean the floors, do pressure washing, stuff like that, just to make money so I could eat. But even in that mindset, I never gave up on what I wanted to do, which was just to carve out a life for myself, which is where those plans came in. Plans were useful, and just I was motivated to do it. So basically, yeah, don't lose motivation, always keep it inside, and do what you need to do to get by without looking back. In the end, everything worked out pretty well, and yeah, I made it to Google. I'm starting, as I said, I'm starting next week in their Mountain View campus, which is the global headquarters. So yeah, I think that's it from my side. Are there any questions?
Okay.
Yes.
They'll have many questions, Daksh. I don't want you to answer their questions. It is not that I don't want to answer. So this session is more about for them to know more about you, how inspirational you are. So could you please tell them what happened when you are in 9th grade to you, Daksh? I'll ask you a few questions. If you can just share. So I'll be very happy. It will be a really motivation for them, I'm sure.
The 9th grade.
What happened to you when you are in 9th grade? Yeah, please.
Yeah, in 9th grade, I got cancer actually. As soon as 9th grade started, I had cancer. Like all of my 9 teeth at the bottom had to be removed because I had a mouth cancer this big. So my whole jawbone and all of my teeth had to be removed. Basically, what happened was, because of that, I could not attend school for almost half an year. And it was bad. I almost had to restart 9th grade, and it was just gonna be really bad situation. I was super depressed. And it was the first time after I came back to school. I remember the first week there was a test, and I scored I think a 2.5 out of 100 because of how bad. Like, I did not know anything, and you gotta get I was a person who always used to be like get A's in school. And for me to go from there to like 2.5 out of 100, that was like crushing. But and I could not eat for 6 years after that. I could not. From ninth grade until after that, for 6 years, I did not have any teeth on the bottom. I could not eat. Everyone at the institute, including Venkat sir, knew that. Uh, it was just bad in the beginning. But you know what? In the end, I was like, I don't have any other choice but to make it. What other choice did I have? Just to get bogged down by it? The only choice at that point I had was I just had to keep moving and make something for myself. I just wanted to believe that I was meant for something more. That's what really kept me going all throughout those years.
Excellent, Daksh. So just let me tell you everyone one more point. Even though he has cancer in his ninth grade, I strongly remember not even in one essay, he shared that to the universities to get any part of sympathy. That is a really good part that I like when I see Daksh essay. So he was so strong. Okay, I'll come to that point to essays later on. I remember Daksh being at least 3 times of his size right now. Because he was in bed for almost 6 months. He was so obese, so obese. Yeah. I think you lost nearly 40 to 50 kilos, if I'm not wrong, Daksh. Huh?
Oh,
now
easy.
you might have you. Huh?
I was
What 50?
Yeah.
Then he used to be so fat because he's on the bed. And other thing that I would like to share is how good you are in English when you started your SAT training, Daksh?
I was absolutely horrible. I was really, really bad. It was hilariously bad.
So he's very bad in English part. Definitely, he's a very good, hardworking student. He has good IQ. I remember this. That was my first class with him. I gave some questions. He was so serious. He's scribbling something. He's doing everything that I given to him. I was very happy because he's putting efforts. He is so serious. He has completed the paper and given to me. So when I conducted a SAT mock test, I think the first test, he was very, very weak in English, mainly the reading part, but he never let it go. And to be frank, the 501 reading questions that you are preparing right now is given to me by Daksh. Daksh is the one after thorough research, and he said, sir, this is the book. If a student is very weak in English, he needs to solve this book to improve his reading skills. I think then it used to be for around 2,400 in this first test. If I'm not wrong, he got around 1,800 or 1780 or 1,800, which is equivalent to around 1,100 to 1,150 in your thing. From there on, he drastically improved to 1,540, means then that score equivalent. Perfect, Daksh. So tell me what happened in 12th, Daksh, please. Yeah.
In 12th grade, so like I said, I needed full financial aid, right? So when I applied to colleges, I applied to 20 plus colleges, and y'all would not believe I was rejected from almost every college and waitlisted at 4 of them. 4 of them were really good who waitlisted me, or like top level art colleges that I wanted to get into, but still, um, everywhere. So I was like, all hope is lost. I was rejected from everywhere. Everything that I've worked for 4 years, all washed away. This was around in I think results come around April, March.
Yeah, in 2017. Yeah.
Yeah.
March 2017. Yeah.
Yes.
Around March 2017. Correct. Yeah.
March and April is when results came in. I think 1st April is when all of them around first. And I was so hopeless. But I think you all might remember in ninth grade, I took all four subjects, PC and B. Now JEE exam had passed already, but the main things were that NEET and AIMS exams were still left, and I had 3 months to go. And I was like, I'm not gonna go down fighting. And I was like, I need to go somewhere. I need to go somewhere respectable where I can make something of myself. I really bogged down and studied really hard for 3 months. I got fevers almost every 2 to 3 days because of how much I used to study. I don't, if any of y'all are in biology, have you seen the Dinesh biology book that's like that thick? If you all have, you all might know what I'm talking about. It's extremely big syllabus to prepare for AIMS. And I did that, and I got into AIMS Jodhpur on my first try. And yeah, I went there for an year. I was on fast track for neurosurgery. But after that, I was like, I'm not done. I wanted to reapply to the US because even though I was in AIMS and I was on track to become a good doctor and a good surgeon, I did not want that future for myself because, as I said, I had already done the introspection part earlier, and I already seen the kind of life I wanted for myself. I wasn't going to give up. So I applied again, and this time I got into Reed College with almost full financial aid, and I kept negotiating it every year to increase it, and it kept increasing every year. And last year we paid like very less compared to our first year. So it's actually usually what happens, the financial aid starts to go down after the first year, but since I negotiated so much, it just kept going up every year. And that's something that I think you all should also keep in mind, like you can negotiate. But yeah, that's what happened in 12th grade. I had to go to AIMS as a backup option.
So yeah, please don't bug off Columbia, Cornell, or Ivy League. So one thing that I want to learn from Daksh is you should have confidence on you. He did not get into he might have got, but he's so determined that I need to get 100% scholarship. So he could not, but again he tried. He's so passionate about physics. He always used to do physics majors. Can you please tell about that major part two for just 1 minute? Daksh, then I would like to say a few things about you, which I was so much impressed. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I used to be really interested in physics. In fact, that actually carried on to my thesis that I wrote this year about quantum computation. I used to study everything and anything there was about physics. I used to watch Feynman, used to read about Feynman lectures. I used to solve Erudov questions a lot. I used to love just doing that. H.C. Verma, stuff like that. I used to just love doing physics. I will, because it gave me a really neat understanding. And when I came to college, I realized that physics wasn't for me, which was okay because of the lab stuff. I wasn't a big fan of the lab stuff, but then I went to the theoretical side of physics and math. And that's where I ended up in math and computer science and the world of quantum computation and building and my thesis this year was on how to build like a universal quantum computer and how to build a universal quantum computer in a way that we can write efficient algorithms on it. It was like a very intricate, it took 1 year to write it. So I can get into it later if anyone's interested. But yeah, that's where that physics interest carried on to even my thesis. So everything that I was interested in at that point carried through towards till the end. Like even medicine that I went there, it was useful because I got a job and I got a lot of contacts here at the hospital around us because of AIMS. And so everything that you do will be useful at some point or the other. And it was for me too. Even though I didn't plan.
Excellent. So please, a few things from Daksh life I would like to take your point is, even you are hit with such a you should be self-motivated. You think I'll study only intermediate. So what is the issue for me with the students, Daksh? So they just want admission a good university, but they don't realize, do they have such potential? They are least bothered to study their MPC subjects. They just want to do SAT and IELTS, somehow do some extracurricular activities and get into a university. They don't know that it will 100% backfire on them. So please be realistic and please you should take such people like Daksh as inspirational. So even his father can afford, he told me many times while he was studying in the 4 years, sir, I got 100% tuition fee, but I need to get for accommodation. So I'm speaking with the university. I'm doing that work, this work. So that is called independence. That is what you need to look for. How many times in these 4 years you have been to India during your studies, Daksh?
Only once, because I wanted to come during COVID, but obviously couldn't come during COVID. I was only there once but I came in summer break, so it was a good 3 months I was here.
Okay.
But
he was just came to once in India entire 4 years. It is not that his father is an IITian. His father also passed out from IIT Delhi along with the same Fiji Goyal sir, and his father were batchmates. So even though his father is in such a good position, he never want to take those opportunities, use that opportunities simply. He do not want to become even 1% burden to his parents. That is the reason he always thought of. And even though he has such a good profile, he never crammed for I need to apply only for Ivy Leagues. He looked for all the options. If at all he would not have looked for liberal arts colleges, no, we don't know what would have been right now.
Please I would have been way worse off. They were not the right colleges for me. They were not. I would not have gotten the personal attention I wanted.
Okay.
In my entire 4 years, I studied only with 9 students in my class. And these were some of the best professors in the world. And I got really good attention. That's why I could get it. That's why I could clear Google in first try, because that attention was given to me for 4 years.
Okay.
Those so in the end, it actually turned out really well that I didn't go to Ivy League colleges, because I wouldn't have been probably.
There are many more options that you need to realize. Don't just think of just getting an admission to university. So there are many more people like that. They can write best essays and give it to you. Do you think if you get there, is it going to help you? If you're ready to spend money, something can be done, but that is not going to help you. So universities want someone who is unique Venkat, unique Daksh, unique person like you who can come and contribute to the university and learn from the resources. And I just told Daksh one day back, Daksh, can you speak with the students, please? He said, yes, sir, definitely. I have one more week. Definitely I can do. So you should be so spontaneous. You should be so open to speaking. And he said one point, he applied for 200 internships. Is it 200 internships he applied, right? I'm correct, right? That
Yeah,
for 200.
Yeah, internships I applied way more, like 200. Yeah, easily 200.
Yeah, he applied for 200 internships and he got only in 3. So you should have such a determination. You should not get disappointed if you're not able to get in 10. You applied only 10, you could not get. So students will write exam, they never work on their essays, they're disappointed you're getting only 1200. No, that is not the life at all. You cannot do anything in life. So please be motivated and please be strong like that. Once you are committed, you need to be committed. See, just came once to India in these 4 years. I'm not asking you to come once or twice. You need to look for that opportunities. Going to US is one thing. From there, your actual life starts. How do you perform there actually starts. That is what is Daksh about to tell you from that time, which I was really motivated. And Daksh got a very good package in Google now. Very, very starting salary. He's not even 22, 23 years. He's getting such a good package. By the 10 more years, he might become Google CEO. Sundar Pichai, one more Sundar Pichai, Daksh Shami.
Oh my God.
Then I'll be happy. At least give me one attender position in Google in US head office. My salary will be at least 1 crore. Very good, Daksh. So do you still have that cat that you are growing, or
he's right there. He's sitting by the door right now.
Oh, he's sitting by the door. Very good, Daksh. You bought it from India or you bought it in US?
No, I got him in US. I rescued him.
Got him in US.
Yeah.
Oh, you rescued him.
Yeah,
okay.
I rescued him. I didn't buy him. Yeah.
So now, if you think you have any questions to us, please do. You can unmute and you can ask him. Definitely, he can answer any questions because I know he's intellectual and he's independent. More than that. So, when are you planning to come to India, Daksh?
Diwali this year.
Diwali. Okay. Okay. Very good. Excellent.
I would like to answer one question that I received.
Please.
So one person asked me, consider a hypothesis. If a person with no programming skills joins a computer science or coding related course, will he be able to survive out there? Yeah, I didn't know any coding when I joined computer science. I got to Google. You're fine. Don't worry. You're fine. Just be prepared to doing the work and make sure you're in computer science for the right reasons. And if you're not, don't be afraid to drop out. That's the main thing Indians struggle with. If you're not feeling a course, drop out. There's no shame. Follow something you want. And yeah, if you are feeling computer science, but if you don't know any coding, that's fine. Professors are good. They teach you pretty well. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, I see one more. What are some core computer skills that are considered impactful? I learned Java and Python, and currently I'm trying to make a profile as a Unity game dev. That's super impressive. That's really good. You clearly know Java and Python, which means you know the basic languages. So what I would suggest would be that you should make some projects instead. You should you're trying to create a profile as a Unity game dev, make some games. Put them on a resume, put something impactful, make a project, something like that. That's what I would suggest you do. But this is really impressive. Question, what did your essay contain? My essay was, what did my essay contain? Well, as Venkat sir said, I was a beast. My essay was quite frankly about food. I love food. I was like, I'm passionate about it. Why be ashamed about it?
Yeah. It is about food. You wrote about jalebi. You wrote about jalebi. I still read it, and I remember he likes food. He used to be chubby, and he wrote about food, which I liked most. So it is representing him. He wrote an essay about food. Yeah, he's good at food. He's good. So you said that you would like to make jalebis for the student community there, right? You wrote an essay on jalebi that I
I wrote jalebi.
Yeah. I wrote essay on jalebi.
I was like, what do I do the most in the day? I was like, eat. And then why don't write about it? And they like that.
Yes, correct. You wrote an essay on eating. Very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Next question was, what college did you study? So I should have mentioned this. I studied at Reed College, which is Reed College, is a small liberal arts college in Portland, Oregon. And one person said, I'm actually from mechanical. I don't know coding. Can I survive in masters if I choose to take CSE? Well, first of all, CSE is usually considered more selective than mechanical. So, I mean, if you want to do mechanical, just do mechanical. You don't need to do CSE. Do whatever you want to. And yeah, you can survive. Anyone can survive if they do the work. That's the thing. Put in the work and go to your professors during office hours. That's the thing. Professors have office hours. Go to the professors, ask for help. I've seen people who should not have passed because professors are basically giving them private tuitions in their office hours for free. And that's what you should do. Approach professors if you're having trouble. Don't have a being independent does not mean that you shouldn't take help when you need help. Ask for help when you want it, and that's how you basically stay independent. If you just keep asking for help when you need it, otherwise you'll get bogged down. Next question is, if a person got into the College of Engineering in a very large university but has no idea about what major to pick and what to do in life, is that okay? Will you eventually be able to do good? Yeah, you all are 18 or 17, 18. You're not supposed to have your life figured out. I'm not supposed to have my life figured out. That's okay. Go do the thing, explore. If it doesn't pan out, doesn't pan out. Just, it's all about exploring. It's okay if you're exploring. Next question is music engineering a good stream in the US? Yeah, I know a lot of people who are in that sort of field, like who do music as well as engineering. I actually know a dude who did get into that field. I actually know a person who is a music engineer. It's a good field. It has a future. I will say this: music engineering might make it hard for you to, like, limits down the number of jobs that you can apply to. So it might make staying in the US relatively harder. So I would suggest keep at music engineering if you're really passionate about it, but keep other engineering options open as well. But you should definitely focus on music engineering if that's very passionate, because it's definitely very, very open field. People are looking for people to hire. What should we do to get a good score in SAT exam? Well, I mean, other than studying, focus on to get a good score in SAT exam, I guess just study, focus on your English. Like, even watching English movies is good practice if you're doing it without subtitles. Even if you're doing it with subtitles, that's okay. That's completely fine. I do it too, So just study, focus on your English. Don't slack, keep practicing every week or as much as you can. Do mock exams as often as possible, even if you don't get a good score. Just keep practicing. Is CSE math difficult? To some people it is. For some people it is, because it's very, very different than high school math. Or the math that you're going to see in college is extremely different from math in high school, specifically because math in college is very focused on proving stuff. All of college math is proving stuff. You have to prove different conjectures, you have to prove whether a conjecture is correct or not correct and stuff like that. So you have to get really theoretical about it. There's nothing numerical or no figure stuff like that. You have to get theoretical. You have to get, sometimes you even have to get philosophical about it. And so it's a very different field, but certainly not difficult because everyone goes through that change. Is there a specific course for cybersecurity, or does it come under computer science? Cybersecurity does have its own specific majors in many colleges, but it can easily come under computer science too. If you have a computer science is the most versatile major if you want to go in that programming coding sphere. So if you do computer science, you can get into any of those fields. Is BBA a good course? So BBA as by itself doesn't really, I mean, what you might be asking is bachelor's in business administration. Okay, let me see. I actually might advise against it because I would say MBA is an excellent course. BBA might not be a good choice because suppose you're not able to do an MBA straight after college. BBA limits down your options a little bit. I would suggest trying to go for something else if BBA is not your passion. If BBA is your passion, if business is your passion, then go for it. But if business is a passion, I would highly suggest you to study something that would help you in building a business. So for example, if you want to do a tech startup, and if you already knew how to code, think about how much money you would save. So if you learned coding in college, that would be a great asset. And later on, you can do an MBA and have a fantastic career. In US, Mech has scope on only CSE. No, all of engineering has scope in the US. Engineering, there's a lack of engineers here. Is theoretical physics a good major? Yes, provided that you want to go to grad school too. Then it's an excellent major. If you don't want to go to grad school, I would actually advise against it because I was in theoretical physics. And yeah, if you're not going to grad school, I would suggest against it. Another question, one quality or skill that companies look for in an employee, which makes, I'm sorry, oh wait, I don't think that's a question. Never mind. Okay, how did you, okay, I think this question is, how did you get into Google and what are the skills required? I got into Google, but straight by applying. Honest, if I'm being completely honest, I was just applying there as a joke, and I applied to all the top 5. If you have all heard of the FANG acronym, I applied to Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, all of those. And only Google offered me an interview. Only Google offered me even like an online assessment. When they sent me an online assessment, that's when I actually started preparing for interviews for Google. And preparing for interviews at big tech companies involves learning something called lead code. Some of you might already know what lead code is and might already be really good at it. Some of you might not know what it is. But it seems a lot of you, at least a lot of vocal people here, are interested in tech. So I would suggest you all to explore this. I put this in the chat. Okay. And yeah, just look. Honestly, how did I get into Google in the end though? But focusing on my interviewing skills as well as building up my personality and my confidence just by participating and stuff on campus, just getting involved and stuff. Next question is, how should I improve my spoken English? I watch English movies and I read some English novels. That's excellent. That means you are really improving your spoken English. Now, the next step, it's not actually very easy to do it naturally in India because the next step is actually to do it in everyday practice. And it feels very fake if you try to do it in India, if you try to force to talk in English all the time. At least for me, it did. So I think you're good from here. I think next thing is that if you are having trouble with written English, I would suggest focusing on that instead now. Because spoken English, you actually won't need a lot of spoken English until you get here. But your written English needs to be strong to actually get here. Is economics majors a good choice? Yes, economics is an excellent choice. You can get into government positions. You can get into all the finance firms. Consulting is open to you. Most jobs are open to you as economics. Economics is an excellent major. In the case of game devs, are game jams really worth it? I have to be honest, I haven't really done game jams at all, so I couldn't say to that. I couldn't say anything to that. The only thing, I know a few game devs, but the only thing they talk to me about is how stressed out they are, because game devs usually are a little bit stressed out, but it's also a really fun job. But as for the question, yeah, I couldn't really answer whether game jams are worth it or not. I apologize. Did you decide your specialization before going to your college or after? After consider wide spectrum course like CS? Way after. I came in as a physics major and I decided it wasn't it after like 1.5 years. And then I changed to CS. Keep in mind, I didn't even know programming even at this point. So I was taking intro CS classes as a freshman at this point when I was about to be a junior. And that was okay. I didn't mind because it was my journey and I just did what I had to do. So to answer your question, I decided my specialization way after, yeah, way after I joined college. Do you really think it's worth it to do undergrad in the US than in India? This is actually a very important question. Do you think it is really worth it to do undergrad in the US than in India? The answer obviously is it depends, but it depends a lot on stuff like what do you want to be? Like, what do you want to be? What's your family's financial situation? Can they afford education in India, US, stuff like that? The most important thing I would say is, where do you want to build your life, in India or in US? I think it all really boils down to that. Because if you want to build a life in the US, go to US, find a way. If you want to build a life in India, stay in India. It really depends on what you want. Person is saying, I have done my diploma in mech and BTech in mechanical. Which type of course, if I take my master's, do I survive? Okay, I'm going to say some harsh words. I think you are getting too worried about surviving. I think you will survive. You will be fine. You're getting too worried about whether you'll survive or not. Focus on thriving. You need to thrive. You need to make a mark, which means if you have a your diploma in mech, your BTech in mechanical doesn't matter that much. What matters more is which part really excites you that like a lot. Like for example, let's say what happened to me happened to you. So like at the end, you were given 1 year to do any project you want. What could you do it in? I think that's where I would start asking that question. Like, what masters do you want to do based on that? Like, what would you build if you were given an year to build something? Would you build something mechanical? Would you build a software? Would you build a business? There's many different things. Depends on that. Oh my God, people are asking so many questions. All right, let's keep going.
So you just answer, what do you feel like, Daksh? We have 8 more minutes. So what do you feel like? You just ask, what do you feel like? There may be so many questions. Out of them, which one do you feel like answering? Which one do you think might add value to the class? You please do. Others you can skip.
Yeah, definitely. You can. So next question is, do we have to study any languages in undergrad, like English, Spanish, or any others? Well, definitely English, because all the instruction is going to be in English. Other than that,
sorry, Daksh. Someone else, please mute yourself so that Daksh will not have any disturbance. I'll also mute myself, please. Yeah.
There we go. I muted them. Well, definitely you will have to study English, but any other than English, you don't really need to study any other language if you're not interested. If you are, you're welcome to. Person said, thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Any platforms you suggest for internships for at college? LinkedIn. LinkedIn is best, and also your college career center is also really great. Person is asking, can you please tell me about lead code? I'll skip this question because you can Google this, but even so, I'll answer this later. If you can email me about it, I'll tell you more about lead code. Can I do engineering along with theoretical physics? Depends on your college. Depends a lot on your college. It depends. Actually, what it depends on is a department head, whether they approve that or not. So that's why I'm saying it depends a lot on your college. Oh, sorry. I'm going to re-answer that question. Person is facing a small confusion with this. What should they take in master to survive in software or in mechanical? I think you should take CSE then. Either maybe electronic engineering and computer engineering. I think that's a course, right? EECE. I think you should take that. That might be a good versatile course that you might need, and that's a very low key, but also not low key. It's not definitely low key, but it's easier than CS, definitely, and it's more applicable everywhere. So I would say EECE. Let's see. Is CSC a good choice for an average student who is very bad at math? Being bad at math is okay. Being not confident in math is going to be bad. So build up your confidence in math, because CSE will have a little bit of math in it, but you can still get by it. If you're doing CSE, computer science engineering, if you're doing CS, then you need to know math. They're different things. CS and CSE are different. But just build up your confidence in math. Everyone can be okay in math. You just need the right instruction. So build slowly, go slowly towards math and try to build it. And even if you're not good at it, that's okay. But if you like coding, that's the main thing. You should like coding, even if you don't like math. That's okay. Because your whole career, you're not going to touch math after that. That's what's really important after that. Person is asking me, what about part-time jobs? Well, this is an important part because, yeah, you will do part-time jobs, but the only part-time jobs that international students are eligible for are on campus. And I think those will be the ones that you will target. But those jobs are not really relevant for resumes. They're really just for giving you some extra money to spend. Like suppose you want to go out, like have fun party or something. You need money to do that. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather not spend my parents' credit card if I'm going out to party. So I was like, I just need a part-time job. And one thing led to another, and I got a bunch of part-time jobs. So yeah, in the end, part-time jobs are really useful, and I suggest everyone to get them. How many days did you prepare for SAT? And what score did you get? I prepared for SAT for a few months, like 6 months, probably. Yeah, I probably prepared it for 6-7 months, because I remember I planned on taking 2 attempts. First attempt in like I planned to take 2 attempts, but the first attempt I got a pretty good score, so I didn't need to take a second one. I took the SAT when it was being transitioned from the old format to the new format. In my old format, my score was 2260 out of 2400. But using College Board's calculator, it translates to around 1540 out of 1600. That was my score. How exactly do things work when you change majors after a year or 1.5 years? I mean, things depends. Okay, this also depends on your college. If it's a university, then you might have to change colleges within the university depending on what you change your major to. So for example, if you went from physics to theater, you'll have to also change colleges because you just went from a field of science to a field of arts. That might be a different process from changing from physics to like math. So it depends on situation to situation or college to college. Which has more preference of getting a job, doing MS abroad or undergrad? Getting a job abroad. This is okay. This is also a hard question. Is doing MS abroad more favorable or doing undergrad? Financially and everything else speaking, doing MS abroad, I would say it might be more favorable just for job purposes. We're just looking at job purposes. Because first, it's only 2 years. Second, it's easier for international students to get in because domestic students typically don't do masters. They go straight to PhD. And third, you are also eligible for a special category of H-1B visa if you have a master's, which means you might be able to get a work visa faster because there's a special category for people who have already done masters instead of just bachelors. One con of doing only masters is that I've seen unanimously that people who do just masters usually have a tough time adjusting to US culture since they've only had 1 to 2 years to adjust to the culture. And the whole time they're focusing on jobs naturally, because that's what you came here for. So that's why it becomes a little difficult. So if you have that in mind, that cultural integration might be tough and you have to put some extra effort into it, I'd say MS abroad would be a really good choice too. Is there a limit to how niche or specialized one's major can be? Yes, depends on your professors. It depends a lot on your professors. As you joined Google now, what about your masters? Well, what about my masters? I don't need to do my masters because I already have a package where, like, my colleagues right now that are joining with me already have masters. I'm already on masters fast track. Masters won't offer me any advantage, at least right now. So at least for the next 5 or 6 years, I'm not even thinking about a master's. I might take some master's classes though, because Google pays for classes if we take them at Stanford. So I might take some there, but other than that, I'm not really planning on doing anything. How was your experience as a first year student? Really daunting. Culture shock hit me a lot. The accent combined with the level of fluency of English really got to me. And it was just it was hard, but also I just pushed through. That was it. I pushed through. I was shameless. I would socialize. I would try to push my way into groups. I socialized a lot and just, kind of sat with people. If I see some table empty with a chair, I just sat there in dining table, tried to socialize with people, stuff like that, like these small things make a huge difference. Like, for example, if you're in a lunch hall, you see a huge table with a lot of people, there's like a few chairs empty, you can sit there, or there's like a table in the corner with a chair empty. 99% of people take their chair in the corner, but I suggest you take the chair with the people just to get integrated with people, with others, even though it's not natural, because it will help you. Will studying any language other than English help you later on in your job? No. If they need any other language other than English, they'll pay for it. They'll pay for you to learn it. I want to study CSE, but I was advised to take aeronautics or robotics, which is best. CSE, hands down. There are more than 600,000 vacancies in CS. Come on. If it's purely by job basis, CS, I would choose CS over aeronautics or robotics, especially for international students. Data science versus cybersecurity versus artificial intelligence. Well, first of all, artificial intelligence.
I think students are making you expertise in specialization, Daksh.
Yeah, they're asking. Let me first pick out questions. Let me first pick out questions very fast.
Yeah.
Can I do freelancing in any skill as an alternative to part-time jobs? No. Freelancing would be considered as a job that would pay you, and that's illegal according to US government. You can only do jobs while you're in college, only the jobs that a college gives you, because those are the only jobs that are legally supported. If you do anything illegal, don't try to do any business. Do not try to do any job off campus. I've seen students do that, and I personally know someone who did that.
No, Daksh. Just to add this, even today morning, one parent called me, son has been deported. Please
Yeah.
don't do anything which is illegal. Writing exams, even India, they had a bad habit. TOEFL or GRE exams, they make someone write. Even they
Uh-huh.
find there, they'll deport you. Please don't do anything. If your percentage is only 60, go to the university which is fit for 60%. You'll be more successful. Don't try to get 90% and try to look for something. You'll be badly hit. Today morning, I got a call from parent. He's literally feeling bad. I can't help anything now. So please
Yeah.
don't do anything which is illegal. Nothing. They're very serious about those things there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
US government is gonna be your worst enemy. Do not try to go against the US government in any way. Do not try to outsmart them. I will tell you this, everything is linked to your social security and you are being monitored. I can tell because when you apply for credit card or anything, they have to legally tell you what they're reporting. And so I can tell you from first case basis, you will be monitored. Like your social security number will be on lock. They will know what you're doing and they will deport you if you give them the chance. Because you are taking their children's jobs, like in their mind. Like they will do stuff to deport you. Can I do MBA along with CSE? Well, not along with, but after it, MBA is a very intense degree. You shouldn't do it along with anything else. So do it after your computer science when you need it. Will my extracurriculars unrelated to the major I'm interested in help me? I'm good at writing, but I want to major in CS. Will it be helpful? Should I focus more on my writing skills or start developing my computer skills? I love this question. Um, this question gets to the heart of the issue that I was trying to get at when I was discussing extracurriculars. Yes. My answer is wholeheartedly yes. Will your extracurricular unrelated to your major help you? Yes. Though, in fact, I would go as far as to say those are the extracurriculars you should be focused on because they make you unique. Having a CS student who's unique and who's really good at writing is a unique skill, is a very unique and marketable skill. That makes you not only good at because that makes you in the future not only good at coding, but also someone who's proficient with what kind of effects your code will have. Or like for example, if you're trying to create like a text generator, you being good at writing will be an excellent skill for you to write a code generator, an AI code generator, because you know what kind of things to look out for. You know what good writing does. You're more experienced than someone like me who, I'm okay at writing, but I'm probably not as focused. So you should definitely focus on your writing skills only. You have all of your college to develop with computer science skills. Don't worry about competing with anyone else. I was worse off than everybody I started off with in the computer science course. And right now, I think I have the best package. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It's your own journey. You go at your own pace. Because people slow down. The people that you see here that are doing really good, they will burn out very fast. Indian students don't really recognize in general what the concept of burnout is, because burnout doesn't happen, but it can happen and it can happen very badly. So take it slowly and just focus on your writing. Just do what you love doing. Do writing and do CS. Be unapologetic about it. Was it hard managing your finances doing part-time jobs? Sometimes, yeah, it was. I was dwindled down, but it didn't matter. I just got more jobs. You get more part-time jobs. Were you afraid when attending Google interview? I was terrified, extremely terrified. Are you all? Yeah, 6 interviews, 8 hour long interview. Do you all know? It was an 8 hour long interview.
He's not terrified to attend interview. He's terrified to take salary. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was terrifying because first of all, these were all very established engineers. They were asking me open-ended questions in computer science, which is terrifying. Open-ended questions are the most terrifying questions in coding because they have infinite number of solutions. And there can be some wrong, some right too. How many marks should we get in SAT to get into an average university? Loaded question. I can't answer this question. What programming skills or technical skills have you learned? All right, let's see. My main skill right now is C++. See, I'm really good at C++. I know Python, I know Go. In my college, we had to learn basically 5 programming languages along with our courses. That's what I'm saying. But like getting personal attention, it means a lot in computer science. So I know 5 programming languages: C++, Python, Go, CUDA, and which one is Java? Yeah, Java. And after this, you can pick up any language like that. Once you know first 2 languages, the rest of them become really easy. Many technical skills. I've made many projects that were part of my classes, that were part of not my classes. I even know programming languages that are meant for quantum computers. It's just, yeah, you just kind of pick up a lot of stuff as you go along. It's not something that none of this is something I actively work towards. It's all something that I picked up as a consequence of my college courses. That's the something I want to emphasize. Okay, this is the last question I see for here for now. I'm currently in class 10th. In what part should I concentrate more? Can you suggest me methods to stay advanced, and how should I plan to your stage? Okay, you're in 10th. I suggest focusing on building your extracurriculars as well as focusing on your SAT exam. In my opinion, those are the two things. You need to start thinking about your life and your essays and your identity. You really need to start thinking your identity because you're in class 10th. Let's be honest, class 9, 10th, you're teenagers. So thinking about this stuff is extra hard emotionally. I know because it was for me too. But that's what it makes it more worthwhile, because the more emotionally hard it is, the more emotionally charged your essays will be and the more impactful they will be. Make your essays emotionally charged. Write what you love. I was fat. I wrote about food. Doesn't matter. Write about what you want. But what the main thing is, write about what you want and what you think your identity is. And most of your time will actually be spent introspecting. So yeah, focus on your college essays, focus on your SAT. It's high time. In class 10th, it's a good time to start thinking about SAT, at least in my opinion. One more question. If we play basketball, at which level should we be to get into a university? I think when you do sports, the main thing is that you need to figure out a way to connect with sports recruiters that really like circle around. About that process, I'm not really sure how that goes because I was obese. I was not playing any sports anytime soon. So I didn't really figure out how to do that. But I'm sure if you Google stuff, many recruiters make tours around like internationally. I'm sure if you do that and if you try to connect with them, that might pan out. So what I'm saying is email admissions offices, try to ask them this question. Like, how do they judge? When are recruiters coming? Can you send them clips, stuff like that? How can you market yourself? So ask the admissions committee. At the very least, at least you'll get some information and might even impress them that you're being proactive, that you want to go into the university to play for them. And don't get me wrong, sports are huge in the US. If you want to play for a college, it's big. How do we get scholarships from colleges? You apply. Many colleges have scholarships. You apply for them. Some of them are already, most of them already include your application. Like most of them already consider you for scholarships through your application. Read did for me. Some of them you have to apply them separately. You have to figure out the stuff for each college that you're applying for, which is why it's very important that you take a good long look at which college you're applying for. Like you need to know everything for the college. One more question. Can you tell me generally how tough is it to get into Google and other big companies compared to other jobs according to you and your batchmates in a batch? Yeah. Also, what are the other tough jobs considered hard to get into? Well, first of all, let me share with you all where I got in. I got 3 offers in all. First of all, let me say that this is also unusual. The kind of offers that I got is really unusual. I think I got it because I was just preparing for 1 year just for interviews. But the offers were, first of all, was Jane Street, a technical desk operator there, which went helping traders execute their trades. That was my Jane Street is a huge hedge fund. If you're like, technically it's a market maker fund, but it's a hedge fund. It's a kind of hedge fund in the US. Second thing was a software engineering job at a small startup. It was really nice. I was going to take it. It was really amazing. And third one was Google. After I got Google, I rejected everyone, obviously. And how tough is it to get into Google? Extremely tough. 10 times harder to get into Google than Harvard. Its acceptance rate is way harder and it's getting tougher now. Especially since you might have heard there's a recession coming. So it's a little bit hard. Out of my batch, I'm the only person who made it to Google. The only person. There's one other person who only made it to Facebook, and we two are the only people. Ironically, we two are also the only Indians. Not the only Indians, but both of us are Indians, and both of us are also the only ones who made it to, like, he made it to Facebook and I made it to Google. It's hard, really hard. Which is harder to get into, Amazon Web Services or Google? Google by a long shot. I got into Amazon. It's pretty easy. Amazon is very easy to get into. If you're prepared, Amazon is very easy to get into. Google is hard. Google is extremely hard. It's because of interviews. Their interviews are hard. Like, they are not easy. So Google is hard to get into. Most of my batchmates, what they did, well, there were not a lot of international students, but what most of them did was that take jobs locally around Portland and stuff like that. So you should also consider the city in which your college is. So for example, if your college is in Boston or New York, you are set. You have so many employers close to your college that know your college's name. That's a huge thing. Your people around you, the community around you will know your name. If your college in, suppose, like Charlottesville or something, might be a little bit hard. If your college is in Portland is like a vibrant community. So people kind of know their name, kind of not. So it depends on the kind of city your college is in too. Keep that in mind. So what my batchmates did, they got jobs around Portland because that's where the connections were through alumni. And I think that's what a lot of people end up doing. Another question, what was the best part of Reed? Oh, best part of Reed. Let's see, there were a lot of good parts. I think the support I got for everything. I got a lot of attention, so there was no place to hide. If you're bad in classes, you will be. You professors will know you're bad. If you're good, professors will know you're good. There was nowhere to hide. But the good side to that is that there was so much support that I could go at my own pace. I could go as fast as I wanted in some areas and as slow as I wanted in other areas. Because like everyone, my pace was fast in some areas, like in math, I'm very fast. In some areas, it was slow, like humanities, I was a little slow. So getting that personal attention was the best part of Reed, that I could study at my pace. Yeah, I think that's all. That is all the questions I see here. Let's scroll to the end. Are there any other questions? Oh wait,
they might ask you. They might ask you many more. Daksh. Yeah. Last question.
Yeah, no problem. I'm free. In which city will you be working now for Google? So as I said, right now I'm in San Francisco. I've already moved into my new apartment, and it's gonna be in Mountain View, California, which is their main headquarters. Yeah, you might have seen that campus on like that movie. What's called? The Internship, I think. Yeah, that like their main campus is where I'll be working on. Yeah.
Daksh, I'll be calling in next 1 minute. I have something to discuss regarding research papers and internships. I'll just call you in 1 minute, Daksh. Okay?
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Daksh. Even though you are occupied with your Google, your time is valuable now. So, but definitely let me see how I can utilize your services. And thanks a lot for your wonderful session. And I sincerely want everyone to take motivation from him, not that whether he got into Google or so. See how wonderful kid he is. So he was suffered with in the age of 14, 15. He got some deadly disease. He never demotivated. He used to be always a happy person. He never used to be disappointed. That is the thing that I like him about him. So definitely, please be motivated and have confidence on you instead of just looking for how to get admission in a good university. That is definitely will happen based on your potential and everything. We are very good at that to do service for you, but don't just script for something. Try to achieve that. That is what always Daksh focus on. So he always focus on what he is good at, what he is weak at. He'll try to work on his weak areas. So that is what Daksh is good at. Daksh, I'll just call you next 1 minute.
Yeah, and just a note for everyone is that I'm gonna send you all my email just in case. If you have any questions, just email me. Yeah. All right. Before I go, one last question: is it hard to engage with new people? Yes, but it's worth it. That's what I'll say. It's hard, but it's worth it. Someone saying thank you. Oh, thank you so much, y'all. You were wonderful.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. No, thank you. And yeah.
All right. Take a leave. Bye.